If you help me, I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want.
Welcome back to the WD Magic Cast for the week of February 19th, 2023. This is episode 216. WD Magic Cast, the show about the mouse, the Marvels, the galaxy, and beyond. I'm your host, Matthew Gracon. In this week's show, we sit down and review Marvel Studios' latest film, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So join us for your discussions. I preface it now, there may be some spoilers. We try our best to not get into too heavy spoiler stuff at the beginning, but things being as they are, we do get into some details about things that happen, about characters. So we'll give you a grade ahead of time, and then we're going to break into things. And also this week's survey. I wanted to follow up on last week's episode of Have You Played Disney's Dreamlight Valley? And I wanted to gauge what do the people think of Disney's Dreamlight Valley? And your four options being, yes, loved it. I did, but not anymore. Not yet, but I want to. And not interested. Those were the four options. Or have you played Disney's Dreamlight Valley? And then have you played Disney's Dreamlight Valley? Yes, you love it. I did, but I'm not anymore. Not yet, but I want to, and not interested. Those are the options, and you can find this poll on Twitter and on our Facebook group. So yes, there's the Facebook group is back because this is a learning process, and I have found out that that's where I can do polls, and I can't do it on the Facebook page. Sorry, learning on Facebook still. All these years later, still learning things. So head over to the Facebook group, which just search WD Magic Cast, and it should pop up. And the polls are going to be in there. I repost them to the Facebook page. And then also it's on Twitter, so at WD Magic Cast on the Twitter, and you could participate in our surveys on there. So on to the results. After all that, on to the results. Nobody said that they used to play it, but they're not playing it anymore. So I did, but not anymore. No one said that. No one also said not yet, but I wanted to. 17% said they're not interested. Okay, that's fine. It's not for everybody. Not everything is for everybody. But an outstanding 83% of you, 83%, and that's a pretty solid number, said yes and love it. And as you heard Kim's response, she is in there. Yes, she loved it. The little bit I've played, I think it's really cool. And most of you, just about, over 8 out of 10 people said that you all love it. So that is fantastic. That is fantastic to hear. That means it's a really good game, and just about everybody likes it, and in keeping up with it and playing it. So if you didn't get a chance to vote in this week's poll, don't worry, there'll be another one shortly. And on that bombshell, we'll be back after these words from our friends and sponsors.
Hey Matthew, Jim Hill here. I do the Marvelous Disney podcast with Aaron Adams over at the Jim Hill Media Podcast Network. I know, very humble sounding name. Anyway, I really enjoy what you've been doing over on the Disney Marvels podcast, but as you probably already noticed, the Marvel Us Disney and the Disney Marvels podcast names are very, very similar, which is why I imagine I keep getting mail for you. That's actually why I'm calling today. I wanted to know what you'd like me to do with all of these Yankee Candle catalogs, so please get back to me. And keep up the great work with the Disney Marvels podcast.
Thank you for those kind words, Jim. And make sure to check out Jim Hill on the Marvel Us Disney podcast with Aaron Adams to find out all sorts of wonderful things about Disney, well, Marvel particularly, what's going on with them. And Jim, those catalogs, I'll make sure to give you the forwarding address. And unless if you want to order something, go right ahead. And once again, make sure to check out Marvel Us Disney with Jim Hill and Aaron Adams wherever you find or listen to your podcasts. And now, on with the show. It is official. Marvel's Phase 5 is here upon us. And to kick it off, they bring in their littlest heroes, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Quantumania, or as I've been calling it, Quantumania Boogaloo, because I still say it's one of the strangest titles to bestow many of their movies. And to help with strange things, I have to bring in Dr. Strange himself. Dave, welcome back.
Thank you, Matthew.
You're quite welcome. We just off the marathon run of watching the movie and letting it digest overnight, which is why this episode comes out a day later. And we're here to discuss the Ant-Man and the Wasp, or the third installment in the Ant-Man line. We're gonna give our general idea of the movie, give our rating, and then we'll go into the spoilers area. So if you haven't seen it yet, go up. You could hear what we thought of it without hearing any spoilers, and then pause it, go watch the movie, come back, and see if we agree on our general thoughts. If you have seen it, feel free to just keep listening all the way through. So, what was your take in general, without getting into spoilers? What's your take on this latest Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Right. For me, now I was a fan of the first two, so I had hopes for this one. Because I'm on record saying that it just seems like the MCU were spinning their wheels with the direction and one-off movies and stuff like that. It just didn't seem like we were going anywhere. Thankfully, watching this one, it made me feel back in home with them. Like, it felt like we had a direction. It felt like there was a decent storyline there. So I felt back in the MCU like I did when all those other movies were coming up before Endgame. So I had zero issues with it. I enjoyed it. Was it the best movie out of the list of them? No, but it was good enough to scratch that itch of being back in the MCU. I don't know if you agree, but that's how I felt.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna agree with you on that. I really enjoyed it. There was a few in the past couple years that have just kind of been up and down, kind of floundering a little bit. There's been some good ones and some not so good ones. And this is definitely one of the better ones. I think this definitely is a good kickoff for Phase 5.
Yes.
I also agree that I felt we are starting to get more progression in what is happening. And it's starting to pull in some of the stuff from a couple of the other series and things that we have seen.
Right.
Nothing. Well, no, I wouldn't even say, because if you've seen, and this I don't think should be too spoilerish, if you've seen Loki, this kind of makes sense and brings things in. I'll get into my thoughts more on that a little later on. But it was fun. It was one of the more serious Ant-Man movies.
Yeah.
I mean, they kept some of the lighthearted, the humor, but there was more sense of purpose to what was happening and why things were happening.
But it
So
still gave you
I
that. Yeah, it was serious, but it still gave you that Ant-Man feel. You know what I mean?
yeah. So there's still the quirkiness and
Right.
the some of the kidding around, but definitely more gravitas to what was Michelle Pfeiffer's whole deal of what she went through
Mhm.
while she was in the quantum realm, um, bringing in everybody, and the daughter, and the whole thing, the relationship between Paul Rudd and his daughter in this. It was more serious, but still the goofy Ant-Man that we know and love.
Yes.
So, I was pleased with it. The special effects were mostly good. The Kang I thought was fantastic. I mean, he was just a real powerful villain.
Yes.
And I think that's something again we haven't really seen in a while. Even going back to Thor: Love and Thunder, you Gore the God Butcher, and I didn't think he was as compelling as one would think he should be.
No. Well, this performance was Jonathan Majors, right? Who played
Yes.
Kang. His performance right there. That's a memorable, if that's a word, performance. Yeah. I liked him as Kang. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure they're not going to switch him out, right? So he's
he's
going forward. So that to me is awesome because I'm behind him as being Kang because he portrayed him superbly, in my opinion.
Oh, he was absolutely fantastic. I mean, you got the sense that he was scheming. He was a little off kilter, like just not everything.
Right.
Not all the elevators went all the way up, and he was just manipulative and just a proper bad guy.
Yes, and I think that's what's been missing. You know what I'm saying? There hasn't been anybody like that. Oh my God, I want to see that person again and another. We just haven't had that. So no. I'm glad we finally got a villain that we can get behind.
Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely brilliant. And that was a lot of the stuff I heard ahead of time, is that whether the people liked the movie or didn't, Jonathan Majors, they said, was just the best part of the movie, and I agree. His acting chops, and the way that he portrayed that. And if you'd watch Loki, it's the same actor, but there's a difference in even though it's technically the same person from alternate universes. It's you get a different sense. He's portrayed differently. And he just does such a brilliant job at it. So yeah, I'm pleased with. I was pleased with the movie. And I did not leave disappointed like I have with some of the more recent ones. So no, all in all, good effort, good job by Marvel, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next one in May, Guardians 3, which I think that might be a little bit of a tearjerker.
Yeah, well, it's funny. We'll get to that, but it's funny when there was three of us at the movies, and it's funny when the third party asks how I felt about the movie because I was quiet throughout that, and I was like, well, that's because this was actually a good movie, and I didn't have anything to kill on it. It had my attention throughout basically the whole thing. So that was a sign of a good Marvel movie, as I wasn't chattering.
Yes, Ant-Man. They showed you Ant-Man right from the beginning. You didn't have to wait 2 hours.
2 hours to see it.
And I have to either sit there listening to you the whole time. Where's Ant-Man? Where's Ant-Man? Where's Black Panther? Where's Black Panther? Where's Ant-Man?
I thought the title list was Ant-Man. Where did he go now? Yeah.
So yes, that indeed. All right. So what would you, out of 10, what would you give this movie?
I don't want to because it was good. I give it an 8 out of the 10. You know, I don't think it was 9 or 10 worthy in my point.
No, definitely not. For me, I don't think it was a 9 or 10 either.
Yeah.
I initially was thinking maybe I'd go with the 7, but the more I thought of it, I'm just like, no, it was better than that.
Yeah.
Definitely not a 9, definitely not a 10. So I won 8 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things, like, you needed a day to soak that in and just think about what happened in that movie. You know, like I said, it was really good. I think 8's an appropriate score. It was good,
Yeah.
but it's not going to blow you away, but it's good enough. It's a good kickoff to Phase 5. I in my opinion.
I completely agree with that. I think now that we're officially in Phase 5, this was a good way to start it off, and it sets a tone of things to come. And we will get more into that in a moment. But yeah, it sets a tone. It gives you an idea of what's to come. It's kind of a complete package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you start off with Ant-Man. Okay, here's the normal life. Here's my life going on, and then the oops happens. And obviously it's in the commercial, so it's not a spoiler. They end up in the quantum realm, and they go on the adventure, and you start finding out pieces of things of what's going on and how these things happen and what led to this. I think they did a good job on how everything came about, and they set everything up nicely throughout the movie. Even at the point, okay, all right, something happened towards the beginning. I'm like, okay, that's going to come back later at the end of the movie, and they did. They brought it back, and in the way that they did it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
So everything kind of wraps up nicely, comes around nicely. And just in case for anyone who's listening who doesn't know, there are 2 extra credit scenes, after credit scenes. So both relatively important. So make sure to stay in your seat, watch them through, and well done scenes that lead into things and kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Not kind of a random scene where you're going, wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Bucky's arm caught in a vice. Okay. I don't understand why we're looking at this, but okay.
Right. And I mean, if you're bringing little kids to this too, there are a couple of the language is not bad. I mean, it's PG-13, the movie. So, I mean, but there is some adult language in there that you might not want your kids listening to, depending on how old they are. But
Right.
But that's minor.
Yeah, that's up to you guys. Up to the person. I mean, up to your parenting styles. It's some of the more recent shows with the language and the verbiage that they use.
Mm-hmm.
If you're okay with that, you should be okay with this. Feel free to go to one of the parenting rating sites and check it out. And they will tell you kind of what to expect in a spoiler-free way. Here's the what could be deemed as questionable, and you determine, are you okay with that with your kids? Are you not so okay with that your kids?
Yeah.
So that is we'll leave that up to you.
Exactly. But for me, I was like, when especially that one that we're not gonna get into, when that was said, I was like, wow, that's new for Marvel, but okay.
Not so much. I mean, I think She-Hulk had some colorful wording there too.
But whatever. It's fine for me.
All right. So at this point, I think we'll conclude the spoiler-free section.
Mm-hmm.
And fair warning to anyone listening, if you have not seen it, we will be getting into some more details about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So if you don't want to be spoiled, pause us here, go watch the movie, come back, and enjoy the rest of the show. If you're not worried about spoilers, or if you have seen the movie, then let's kick along here. I enjoyed how they started off with Scott walking down the street and feeling self pride and fulfilled, and people still kind of, which one are you again?
Yeah, called him Spider-Man at the coffee place.
And then whenever they realize, wait, you're not Spider-Man, you're the other bug guy, you're the Ant-Man. That'll be $12.
$12.
and Paul Rudd, he doesn't miss a beat. He's like, okay,
yeah. Well, he got over so long, but he was like $12 for a coffee. Man, I think he got upcharged for all the free coffees.
The book that Scott Lang wrote.
Oh yeah. Oh my, yeah.
Will be available for purchase later this year.
Get out of here! Really?
Yeah.
Oh my. Are you gonna buy it?
I don't know about that, but it will be available for purchase. So kind of that bringing the movie to reality for the movie type situation. Was it Look Out for the Little Guy? Here we go.
Something like that, yeah.
Pre-order will be released in September.
Wow. Then I got a 2-hour marketing gig for his book. That is awesome.
It is the book from the movie. It's currently the #1 bestseller in fictional satire. It's by Scott Lang.
Does it say how many pages?
Let's see here. They may not know that yet because it's not fully published.
Okay.
Oh wait, nope. Here it is. Hardcover, 224 pages.
Okay, that's not that bad. That might be readable. I don't have time for like a 400, 500 page book right now.
No, but yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe I would want to pick this up just because.
I would be interested to see what's in there.
Released September 5th of this year.
Okay, we got time.
So yeah, that should be currently available Amazon, by Barnes and Noble, any of your bookseller fine locations. So yeah, that's I thought that was funny when I found out that book it will be coming out.
In typical, his fashion, he's just hamming it up, when he's at the bookstore reading it, to the kids and to the audience or whatever. You could just see that he's, acting bigger than he probably should be. He's okay.
Oh yeah, the kid, like particularly the kids in the audience, not so much the parents, but the kids in the audience were eating it all up.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah, but there was only fun. Yeah, there was only one. There was one person who wasn't in it. I brought this up to you last night. That he didn't fit in there, but he fits in the Ant-Man universe, and that was Michael Pena.
Michael Pena, yeah. Well,
Lewis.
did have. Well, that whole little crew wasn't in it. So Michael Pena, and the other guys.
Yeah.
Ex-con security, was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Kurt Lewis and David.
Yeah.
So yeah, the none of them were physically in it.
They were kind of like his supporting crew from the other two movies. They were just like,
right.
But that's a minor. It's a minor thing. Like I know they don't fit. They wouldn't fit. There was no way they could put him in this movie. But that was just my little. Because I just like the way he tells stories in the Ant-Man fashion. It was good.
Yeah, I honestly think if they wouldn't have had a big enough part to justify bringing them in.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, they were there, but we really didn't get that much of them. You kind of did them a disservice. Or if you tried to write them in, then it was just too cluttered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of a film, and I don't think it will play it out well because you already have Hank, Janet, and then so you have that whole the five of them actually, because you have the daughter in there as well. So you have the five characters as already on top of the quantum realm beings.
Yeah.
That you kind of come in there through that. So it would definitely muddy the waters. There have just been way too many characters to make sense,
Right.
to justify having them there, and then also the screen time and whatnot. So no, I miss Lewis. I miss the comical aspect, but I don't think it would have been appropriate or right. I mean, again, just showing up at the end or at the beginning, maybe, but you really wouldn't do the character justice with that.
Yeah, no. Like I said, it was just, if you're going there thinking that they're in the movie, they're not.
No.
Because again, they're in the trilogy. Well, the other two, so you would think they would be a part of the trilogy, but they're not. Which again, it is what it is. I missed them, but they didn't fit in that story. I agree with you on that. So there was no way to use them.
Yeah, so it's you got that. You have but everybody else is back. Like I said, Michelle Pfeiffer. Why can't I remember?
Yeah, Michael Douglas.
Thank you, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, Evangeline Lilly, and Paul Rudd. They're all back. Cassie is now yet again played by another actress. So this is the third actress to play her, I think. So you have
Abby
Catherine Newton in this one.
Yeah, Abby. I just had it. Abby Ryder Fortson played her in the original, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And then in Endgame, it was a different actress.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was probably because I guess they wanted to age the character.
You had to age her up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the addition of Bill Murray in this, which I enjoyed his character.
Yeah, little cameo.
I was a little worried at first. I'm like, okay, where are we gonna go with this? How are they gonna fit him in? But yeah, no, I think it worked.
Yeah.
I think it completely worked. He didn't go too crazy with it. He played it just right.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue. It's just you start to wonder though if it's that Star Wars thing where these people want to be a part. These main actors want to be a part just to have that on their resume. You know what I mean? So now Bill Murray can go, oh yeah, I was an Ant-Man.
Oh, it absolutely is.
And who was that? Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe was in Thor: Love and Thunder, right? That was Russell who played Zeus. So now he could say he was in there.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring that back up, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, what do you think about it? He's got the lineage. You got the Greek gladiator, the Roman gladiator playing a Greek god, a Norse, well, Zeus, no, Norse, Greek god. So why not?
Right. But no, Bill Murray did not kill it. He was fine. I had no issues with Bill.
No, yeah, he worked. He played the part just right.
Yeah.
And I actually liked some of the tension that he added into it between himself and Janet, inferring a past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Throwing off Michael Douglas's character. Well, I did date once.
So, but, then it was good to see Michael Douglas again in there. He still He's still going because he's got to be
Yeah.
up there in age now too, then, isn't he?
Yes, he is currently. Let's see, he was born in 44.
70,
So
79? No, no, that's my math is off. Sorry.
79. He
That
will.
was right.
He will be 79 in September. So, he getting on there with age, but he's
But
still.
it's not like he's out there doing stunts and stuff. I mean, he's.
Well, I mean, they did crash him.
Right. Well, yeah, true.
The Michelle Pfeiffer, who's 65. She again pulled it off well, I think. Is it a little strange that you never mentioned any of this. You never mentioned any of this in the past, and it's a little weird that it came up, but it didn't take me out of it. I didn't really disbelieve it either. I did like the fact whenever Scott mentioned that he helped defeat Thanos, and they're like, "Well, we were there too. It was just you." It's like, yeah. I just keep getting that shot of the all female moment of the end game battle where just by chance all the female characters were in the exact same spot at the exact same time to march on Thanos. So
What did you get a like? I know they weren't Avengers, but the people in the quantum realm.
Yes.
When everything was going, when the battle was raging, did you get I got an Avengers feel to it, just the way the action was going and them fighting Thanos, Kang's army and stuff like that. I don't know. I got like Avengers vibes. That's why I think I might have liked it so much because I knew they weren't, but it just felt like it, and it was great action, good battle scenes and stuff. So.
It was a cross between like a Avengers or like a Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Yeah.
Rise of the Skywalker. That the battle at the end there where they're all like charging on the Empire and stuff. Yeah. Or not as goofy, but I would say Phantom Menace, wherever you have the Gungans fighting the droid army. But actually no. Attack of the Clones. When the clones come out, and they are battling the Separatist movement.
Right. Yes.
So that kind of big. Yes, I had moments a connection to that. And I thought they did it well.
Yeah, and it's
the pacing of it was right. The scale of it was right.
Yeah, and it was all different kinds of characters. It wasn't just one I don't know. What do you call it? It wasn't just one group. Kang's army were all the same, but the Quantumanium people were all different. You had
the variety of even the living house. I liked all the comparisons. Wait, your houses are alive. Your houses aren't.
Aren't yeah. It was visually, all of those characters, it was good.
And unfortunately, Dave, I'm sorry, I don't know the name of your favorite character from this movie.
For me, from the Quantum Realm?
Yes.
I love that dude with I don't, it's hard to explain. The guy that had the round, cannon thing. Kang.
Oh. See, no, I thought you were going with the little blob guy.
The little blob guy? No, he was that was like comedy relief with that dude. I liked the cannon guy, whatever that. I don't know what he was or what, but yeah, I felt bad for him when Kang blew him up.
Yeah, well, we're getting reversed and blew him up. Yeah, Yeah, I'm trying to because I'm looking on IMDb. It's got listed the characters,
Mhm.
but not knowing like
Who
the only
was
one I
what? 'Cause-
know is
yeah.
Quays was played by William Jackson Harper, was the guy with the psychic powers.
Right, he could read your mind and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was pretty cool. Do I know him from anything? No, I don't.
Yeah, that little blob thing that you were talking about, I thought that was what's his face, but he's not listed on here, so I'm pretty sure
No,
it's not him. But I don't know. There was times where it sounded like him, and I'm like, why is Ryan Reynolds in, in Quantum?
he kind of did have that. Yeah. Now who? I'm trying to figure out who that the girl was. I don't try to find
Which one? The leader of the one that was in the jail that the daughter broke out?
yeah, Gentora.
Gentora, that's Caddy M. O'Brien.
Yes. I don't know if it's because how they did the makeup, but she looked a lot like Proxima Midnight.
Hmm.
Because she had I mean, besides the skin color, but just the way they did her makeup and the way she acted and stuff. I mean, she reminds me a lot of Proxima Midnight. Besides the skin color.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a correlation there, or is it just by complete coincidence?
I don't know. Well, what is it with the quantum realm? How did they, unless I was not awake, how did those people get in there? They all got sucked in there and they just formed a society?
They
Like, did I miss that?
conveniently didn't bring that up.
Okay, then, because I know I was tired going into it, but I thought maybe I missed that part.
They conveniently did not bring that. I thought at some point, oh wait, we're gonna find out how this all happened, because they made a point to say this wasn't all here last time we talked. But then it just said, well, with the quantum realm, there's so many different areas of it. You really don't know how expansive it really is. And left it at that.
Mm.
But like whenever you see Janet Van Dyne, Michelle Pfeiffer's character there in the first part, there's a couple of life forms that we've seen in the past or have seen, and just her. And then she talks about being alone the whole time, being alone, and then Kang shows up, and now finally having someone to be able to talk to. My only other guess is through Kang's stuff, these people came to be. But it was that part is a little iffy, and that's kind of one, as the little blob guy said, it's a hole.
Yeah.
In the writing and the plot, does it kill it? No,
No,
at least not for me.
no.
I can look past that because to me it everything else worked. How everyone showed up there. Again, who's to say that beforehand anyone explored the entire area? If someone's stuck on a desert island, doesn't mean that there's no one else on the planet.
Right, exactly. So the one character that we haven't discussed yet, who made his first appearance, I'm assuming, right, in the MCU
Yes, it is.
so far, was MODOK, played by Corey Stahl. What was your opinion on how he looked and his part in it?
So let's see. I was trying to find what the abbreviation is. Mobile organism designed only for killing.
Killing, yeah.
It's a different take on the character than what we know in the comic books, as far as how he became and whatnot, and some of the powers. because I believe.
Well,
Let's see here.
that's my question, because I don't know much about the comics. Was that accurate where he was that B guy or whatever in
No.
okay, so he had nothing to do with that. Okay.
The synopsis from the Marvel's Avenger: The Ultimate Character Guide, updated expanded edition from whenever. MODOK stands for the mobile organism designed only for killing. He was once an AIM agent, George Tarleton, chosen by AIM to become a humanoid supercomputer. The experiment mutated George and drove him insane. Originally called MODOC, MODOC, with the last letter standing for computing. George decided the last letter should be K for killing. Since becoming AIM's leader, he has terrorized the world. He is also his own. He has his own gang, the Modax 11. So his height is 12 foot. He weighs 750 pounds. He does have hair. MODOK has superhuman mental powers and telepathic powers and computer-like brain. His hover chair allows him to fly, and his arms is armed with various weapons. He can also teleport.
They said he was 12 foot.
12 foot. According to this, his height is 12. Yeah, he's 12 foot. He's actually a rather large sucker. So instead of him being shrunken down, his head got bigger, but the rest of him.
So he's like 8 foot of head, and like
pretty much. Pretty much.
I almost like that storyline better than the storyline we got in the movie, but it is what it is. I just rolled with it.
I think for the movie it worked well because you were able to bring back an established character that, since we're now delving into the quantum realm, it's like, wait a second, the Wasp ended up in the quantum realm. Whatever became of him? How come we haven't seen him again? You know, someone could perseverate into that. But with so it's like, okay, we'll just run with this. We you know, he shrunk down. He did see him shrink in kind of a weird, funky sort of way. So all of that kind of worked, and then you still have the psychotic end because the Wasp was psychotic.
Yeah.
And I keep on calling him the Wasp. He's not the Wasp. Who's the Yellow Jacket? I'm sorry. Yellow Jacket was psychotic.
Right. Yes.
And so it just plays, instead of having introducing another different psychotic character, it's like, all right, we just revamped the one psychotic character that we have, you know, and this is it's a logical path,
right?
And then you already have the established relationship, between MODOK, Ant-Man, Cassie, the whole thing. So you already have a built-in triangle of the connections.
Yeah, and I mean, with the beauty of the multiverse, they can always bring in another MODOK.
Yeah,
from a different place with that storyline that you just read.
Yeah, you know, and well, with his battle shield down and everything, I thought he looked fantastic. With it up, and you were just getting Derek's face. It was a little
stretch,
2-dimensional. Like his face looked flat.
Yeah.
So that's where the only fault I have against the visual effect. I mean, it still looked amazing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, well, it didn't you know, give it enough 3D depth or effect on the mesh. But
yeah, it almost looked like a stretched out like movie screen in his body frame. To me, that's what it kind of looked like. It didn't look like a facial featured. You know what I'm trying to go.
If they said somehow that there was a glass shield that was in front of his face, I would have bought that more.
Right, there you go.
But just the way the character acted, it just, again, being completely psychotic
Mhm.
and having this arsenal of weapons and just, I'm just gonna just destroy whatever I can.
Yes.
Just really made him menacing and again, a good adversary.
Mhm.
And then, adding in some comic humor at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy. I thought, I was afraid of how they were going to do it. They thought they could have easily gone the wrong direction with that. And I think for me, this worked. I mean, not that I'm a huge MODOK fan, so I couldn't tell you that much about him.
Right.
Other than I know he had the mental powers, which is they don't have, but makes perfect sense because they haven't really officially introduced that. They have introduced it because it was in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but that was in another dimension. This is not, so that type of stuff doesn't happen. So that we could get away with that. I think the main thing is you just want a psychotic person, deformed person, misshapen person with a multitude of weapons that just wants to destroy
Yes.
his adversaries, and he absolutely does that. Like wherever they first introduce the character, he just goes on and destroys a whole bunch of extras.
And he knew not to mess with Kang. That was the only thing. Like he was out to destroy everything, but when it came to Kang, man, he was like, "Whoop."
I'm shutting up now.
Yep. Is it what he said? Didn't Kang tell him, like, don't speak when I'm talking or something like that?
Yes.
Shut him up real quick.
Don't speak in my presence.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Don't speak in my presence. Okay.
No, but no, his character added to it. I didn't have a problem with him. It was just, it was just that the visual effects of him was a little weird when he didn't have the what'd you call it? The little shield, the face shield on.
Yeah, with the face shield down, it worked fantastic. I liked the interaction between MODOK and Kang. But that brings me to one of my favorite scenes in the jail. I mean, we're fast forwarding here, but when Scott and Cassie are both in the jail and Kang comes up and proposes to Scott, here's my deal. And just the way he went about it was just, this guy was bad. There's no question about this guy's morals. Again, to make another Star Wars reference, you got very like Vader vibes.
He was Vader-esque, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because he was, I mean, I don't know what you want to call it in the MCU, but he was using the Force because he was pushing him up against the wall.
Well, see, here, I guess you could call those telepathic powers because that's,
That's what he was using? Okay.
Yeah, telekinetic powers. So it's, or some sort of gravity control, or who knows what, or reality control. But whatever it was, you just got a sense of, and again, he didn't really have to do anything. It was the way that he spoke, the way that he carried himself, and just the slightest gestures.
Yeah.
Just portrayed this power, and this is one bad dude. Which, at the end of Loki, the one who remains says to Loki and to, and I forgot her name now. The female Loki.
I forgot it. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I'm gonna have to do a rewatch on Loki.
Yeah. But anyway, so says to them, yeah, I'm not the one that you have to be afraid of. There's worse than me.
Yeah.
So you're thinking this whole time that this was the worst one. And I like how he kept on saying, I'm trying to stop the other ones, which is exactly what the one from Loki was saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you get that extra credit, the after credit scene where it's like, how many?
Yeah. Well, and that's it. Like when he said they kept it cryptic for me anyway. We kept saying they banished me here to the quantum realm.
Right.
So I kept finding myself trying to think who would have sent him there.
Was
So
it
like
the Avengers? Was it
like I
X-Men?
had,
Was it
like
Fantastic Four?
right. Well, I had to like, was it the Celestials from from
Eternals?
the Eternals, because I'm like, well, I'm assuming they're going to be brought up again down the road. So I'm like, who brought them there? But we got that answer at the end in the post credit.
He did it to himself. Literally, he did this to himself.
He banished himself. But now, do you think with that, since we're on that, or we're talking about that now, do you think they're going overboard with how many Kangs there were in that? You know what I mean? There's like, there was millions of them.
Yes and no. Not to be ambiguous with the answer. For the purpose of storytelling and trying to give a more defined direction, yes, I think that is it. At this point in time, it feels excessive.
Mm-hmm.
But also remembering that there's relatively an infinite amount of possibilities and alternate universes.
Right.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So, that's why I'm saying like yes and no. From a story writing point, yes, that just seems like it's too crazy.
Yeah.
But from the logical point of, okay, this is the multiverse, and there's one for every multiverse out there, and they're pulling them all in. Less two now. That there would be a infinite amount of them.
So then my follow-up to that would be, is going forward, out of these millions of gangs that we got introduced to, how do they pick which one to roll with going forward? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I think what we can decipher from it is that there is the three main ones. 3 or 4 main
right
Kangs that are in control. Those are the ones that are going to be the ones that eventually the Avengers will probably deal with.
We'll have to deal with.
But from the rest of them, we don't know. Are they going to be showing up in other movies? Will they not show up? Will they somehow just to kind of, as the quote unquote main ones are dealt with, the other ones kind of fade off somehow? And I've said this before. It's been a little while since I've said it, but I say it again. And Kevin Feige, we trust. I mean, the guy's got a plan, and he's not going to let us down.
Right.
And from the same book, I have Kang's little write up. Nathaniel Richards discovered time travel and journeyed back from his own time to 3000 CE to ancient Egypt. There he ruled as Rama Tut for several years, later traveled to the 40th century, where he created an empire as Kang the Conqueror. Kang is usually an enemy of the Avengers, but once joined forces with them to prevent his future self, Mortius, from wiping out a number of parallel worlds. His powers: he is a master of time travel. His suit provides super strength and protection. He has access to future weapons. Kang travels back into time to bring his young self, Iron Lad, back to the present, but Iron Lad formed the Young Avengers and hoped to never become Kang. Okay.
I wonder if we'll actually see a Kang go with the Avengers.
I don't put it out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Because they keep on saying how they are trying to stop themselves
Mhm.
from destroying everything. So would one of those billions that we saw join force with the Avengers to help defeat himself? I think there's a good chance. I know nothing. But I can't say that's out of a very good realm of possibility.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the Kang that we did see, though, I want more of that Kang, even though he's gone. Well,
Like I said, and he's not the worst one.
I know, but that dude was that guy, with the instant, like, gone. What was that? I need one of them, man. Poof, you're gone.
Vaporization.
Poof, you're gone.
You're gone. And you could tell he was like not settled. He's mentally just not right.
Yeah.
And just wow. I mean, like I said, a proper villain. And for all the people who mock Marvel about, the villains are just the same, have the same powers as the hero, just bad.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have the powers of Ant-Man.
No.
Strike that, reverse it. Ant-Man does not have the powers of Kang.
Okay, there you go. Not at all. If he did,
none of them have
the fight might have gone a little bit better for him, but but we're leaving out the ants. They came out. They were cool.
I thought that was cool, and it worked for me. And the subtle references. Bill Murray goes, "What's an ant? Do we have them here?"
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But again, setting it up.
Yeah.
You had the part in the lab. You had Scott Lang falling and breaking open the ant farm, for lack of a better term. And then you had Bill Murray bring up the ants. So again, it's like we're giving you hints that the ants are here.
Yeah.
We're just not showing them to you yet.
Yeah, it was just cool because like they brought him in right at that right point where it looked like the battle was lost. You know what I mean? And then on the horizon, here comes
the cavalry, and it's a bunch of ants, giant ants, futuristic giant ants with
laser
battle
guns
armor.
And something. Yeah, battle armor.
It reminds me of like some toy I probably played with in the 80s where they well, they had there was a dinosaur one where the dinosaurs, people weaponized dinosaurs and put battle armor on them and they battle. I don't remember the name of it now, but I remember that they had that.
Dino-saucers, or something like that. There was an old. You're talking about like an old cartoon, right?
Yeah, something from the 80s, yes.
Yeah. Because what's his face shows up and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm late. It was a lot of ants."
He's just standing there.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept on thinking one of them was going to snuff it. I think I even said that. I'm like, somebody's going to die. I just had a feeling, but no one did. Not that I wish any of their characters to die, but just I think it would have changed the gravitas of the movie.
Yeah.
And I guess to kind of wrap things up, I loved how they ended it.
Mm-hmm.
With Scott's walking along. It's like, okay, back to everyday life. Everything's normal. Everything's back to the way it was. But there's that voice in the back of his head going, wait a second.
Yep. Yeah.
Something's not right.
Yeah. Did I just destroy the world? Oh, well, we'll come back to that later or something like that.
Yeah. I just said.
Yeah.
But so then they go to another scene and he's still it's still egging at him that something's not right. Yeah. Something's not,
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that sets things up beautifully for what's to come.
Now, do you think, is this the last of the Ant-Man movies? Like, or I know we're going to see him, we're more than likely going to see him again in future movies.
He's gonna show up again. Well, he'd show up in Avengers or whatnot.
Right. But are you hearing anything like, is this the last of his movies?
I haven't heard. As of yet, I have not heard whether or not there will be any more Ant-Mans after this. I don't see why there couldn't be.
Right.
But
I mean, because for a lower key character, you know, because when you think Avengers, you know, whatever, you're thinking Iron Man, Hulk, all them guys. You're not thinking Ant-Man, but for a lower level Avenger, he's done a lot of stuff and moved the story
keep
along
in mind,
a lot.
Iron Man was a lower level one too.
Was he?
Yes. Iron Man was a B character before they made the movies.
Ah, okay. I would have put him up as one of the top dogs, but
No.
wow.
He was a B character, and the reason why we got the Iron Man movie because it was one of the ones that they had the rights to.
Wow, really?
And
so the movies made him a higher. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that either. Interesting.
So, yeah, he wasn't one of the more popular. He wasn't your Spider-Man, your Captain America, your X-Men. He was. He was one of the lesser characters, which is why they still had the rights.
Okay.
They went, okay, so we have the rights. We can roll with this. But yeah, so yeah, Ant-Man, I can't. You're obviously not done with him.
Yeah.
In what capacity, I don't know. Are they going to constantly follow the rule of 3? Well, I mean, I don't think so because Thor, you're not.
Yeah, Thor's got 4 for now. There's another Captain America coming out too, isn't there?
By Mantle, it's another Captain America movie. A different Captain America, but it's another Captain America movie.
Right.
Guardians is gonna.
Right.
The Guardians that we know of at least will bow out at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange, we've only had 2. There's a 4th Spider-Man coming.
Mm-hmm.
So where does Ant-Man fall into that? Does something happen during Secret Invasion, Secret War? Supposedly a lot's gonna change in that one, which we're just months away from Secret
Invasion. Yeah, that's
Invasion.
coming out soon. I was just looking at the timeline, and there's a bunch of stuff coming up quickly too.
Yep.
I
can't wait.
It was all right. So we got Ant-Man and Quantumania just came out. You got season 2 of What If, Secret Invasion, then you got the Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3, season 2 of Loki, The Marvels, Echo, Ironheart, Agatha, Daredevil. There's a Marvel Zombies, Captain. I mean, obviously this is over a course of the next year and a half, 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
There's
Echo. I'm hearing is getting pushed back.
Oh, they're pushing it.
Yeah, because there's just running into a little bit of issues with it.
Okay.
Kind of like they did with She-Hulk. How do we present this?
Oh, okay. Marvel Zombies, then Captain America, Thunderbolts, Blade. So yeah, they got quite a bit coming. I just hope it's not like oversaturation.
Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3.
Because that wasn't on the list. Fantastic Four. Was there something else?
Now, do you think we'll get to that point of oversaturation down the road when all this is done, of too much Marvel stuff, and they're just going to they'll maybe pause and take a couple years to regroup and come in? I mean, as long as, if they're making money and everybody's seeing it, they're going to keep pumping stuff out. But does it ever get to the point of oversaturation?
Well, let's say that's already been put out there. During the earning call, whenever Bob Iger said that they're going to have to cut back by about $3 million in production and this and that and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Around the same time, Kevin Feige said, "Yeah, we're going to be trimming the list a little bit."
Oh, okay.
We're getting Iron Wars as well. That's one from Disney Plus to movie, which actually I think now that actually makes more logical sense because they're trying to cut the Disney Plus budget to make Disney Plus stay profitable. Well,
yeah, I heard.
Make it profitable. Yeah. So now before I was wondering why you would have done that. Now it makes perfect sense why you moved it off of Disney Plus and put it into a theatrical release, because that's a whole different budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's about what we know of what's coming up. And there's a bunch more things that we don't know about that's coming out. Yeah. And I'm definitely looking forward to all of it.
Yeah. It's kind of like, because compared to the Star Wars stuff, we're getting beat over the head with all the series is coming up. There's no, motion pictures coming out anytime soon that I'm aware of. I mean, I think we were talking about that one movie that probably got greenlit, but when is that ever going to come out?
25.
In 2025? Yeah. See, so it's like, but again, the series have been good, but I don't feel like, if we had a series movie, I think it would have been like too much, where I'll just write out whatever, the Ahsokas and stuff like that, but eventually I want to see another feature movie. Film, you know, but it's got to be done right though. I don't want them patchworking something and just throwing it out there.
No, and I think the series have breathed new life into the Star Wars.
Yes.
Where Marvel, it's already had the gears already spinning. They had full momentum. I think it's just giving you more variety, and just fleshing things out even more.
In Marvel, you said?
Yeah, with the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
So, next I want to say is May 10th. So Guardians 3, I think, is the next release that I know of.
And that'll be a big one. That's going to be.
Yeah. It's more centric around Rocket, and I think there's going to be again a lot more emotion.
Yeah.
And they're even trying to build that up in the trailer. That's how they're pitching the trailers.
Well, you see, is it Nebula holding Star-Lord? So I guess they're trying to make it think he dies in it or something like that. But I don't think they would have given that away in the trailer, man.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, it's kind of like that Harry Potter scene. At the part 2 of the Deathly Hallows, where look, Harry's dead.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Not quite dead yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's. I think there's a lot of red herrings in there, but I think they're also trying to prepare us for something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but the Guardians have always found a way to pluck at the heartstrings, though, man, to get you a little teary.
Yeah.
So it would
it's
be
not
fitting,
meant to be taken seriously, but at the same time, there's a lot of feeling.
Yeah. Like when what's his face died, and they had the Ravengers were there, and they had the send off for him, the funeral. Dude, that was that was touching, man. It was emotional. So they know what they're doing.
Or even just going back to the first one, talking about Rocket, when they're in that, getting into the prison and changing clothes, and then you just see Rocket without a shirt on, but all the bionic, parts and the scarring on the back of him.
Yeah.
Nothing had to been said, nothing. All you see was the visual, but you felt it.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, they do a very good job with that. James Gunn has done a fantastic job with the series. It's I'm wishing him well in his new ventures, but we'll miss him on this side of the street.
Yeah. But hey, Marvel's, in my opinion, Marvel finally got back on the track. We had 2 back-to-back good ones, Black Panther
Yep.
and Ant-Man, and I'm hoping Guardians follows in that path.
I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up too high for Guardians, but my hopes are high for Guardians. I think we were going to be in for a treat. I'm looking forward to it, and here's hoping.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, Dave, thank you for anything more that you wanted to mention about Ant-Man, or
No, I'm good. Like I said, it's definitely worth going to see. And I don't know. Like, again, I heard going in, you're either gonna love it or you hate it. I don't know unless you know, like, what were the critiques about this movie that people didn't like about it. I try to stay away from reading the hate mail, but I just don't know what they were nitpicking about with this, because for me I mean, everybody's going to have their own opinions and stuff, but for me it was fine for what it was trying to do.
I don't I don't know. I've said this about other things. I think part of the problem is that whenever you get things so established or people get so invested in something, they start creating their own direction in their head. Mm-hmm. This is how it has to happen. This is what I feel it should happen, and this is, if it doesn't happen this way, I'm going to be disappointed because I know I'm right.
Yeah.
Or, based on these comics, and here's the clues, and this is, they overanalyze, overthink things, and they look too far into stuff, or too much into things, and forget that there's other people out there who are actually in control of this stuff, and they have their visions and are being told what to write for one reason or another. And if their stuff doesn't jive, they throw a hissy fit. And it's like I said, I remember when the Harry Potter books were coming out, and the last one was about to come out, and everyone was speculating, this is how it's going to happen, that's going to how it happened, and most people did not get it right, and they were upset about it.
Yeah,
this is not how it could end. This is not how it should end.
Yeah, my only comparison would be because it was around the time when the Hobbits and the Lord of the Ring movies came out. Like, I had actually read those books, and when the movies were playing out, I'm like, that's not how it happened. That's not supposed to happen. But I was able to decide, say, hey, listen, okay, the book is just the starter. They don't need to go by it word for word throughout the whole entire thing. I was able to separate the two and enjoy both of them, the book and the movies.
And I did the same with the Harry Potters. And what people have to realize, particularly with the MCU versus Marvel, the Marvel comics, is the MCU is its own thing. So, like, you have the Marvel comics, you have the Unlimited series, you have the 2099 series, you have all these other variations. The MCU is its own variation, so it will take cues, it will take hints, it will take inspiration from the age-old comics that Jack and Stan and Rob and Jim and all those guys wrote. Mm-hmm. Takes inspiration from them, but they do what they tell the story that they want in the direction that they want and take things in the way that they want. So it is, be thankful for what you're getting, because you and I both know we went a long time to get here.
Oh yeah, long time. Yeah.
So
no, No, because otherwise we'd be complaining. Like if we're not getting this stuff, we'd be complaining that we're not getting this stuff. So it's like,
exactly.
you know, so
shut up and be thankful for what you got.
Thankfully, we got it.
Yeah. So no one's you can't please everyone.
Right.
There's always going to be people that hate the movie. There's always going to be people that's their favorite movie. Like Black Widow. Neither of us cared for it. Thor: Love and Thunder. Neither of us cared for it.
Right.
There's people out there that think they're the best movies in the MCU's ever done.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And on that bombshell, Dave, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me again, Matthew. Appreciate it, bud.
You're welcome. We'll be talking soon.
Yes, sir.
Well, there you have it, folks. What did you think of Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania? Let us know. Join the conversation on our social network groups. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/WDMagicCast. On Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Actually, just saying, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter, we can be found on all forms of social media there at WDMagicCast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel where we got some really cool things going on there as well, as long as YouTube allows me to keep that stuff up. You can also leave us a voice message through the Anchor app. Be heard on the show yourself. Let you be heard. You can hear yourself on the show. Send a voice message through the Anchor app or Anchor.fm website, or record a message electronically on your smartphone, tablet, computer, whatever you have, and email it to us to email@wdmagicast.com. You could also email us to that address any suggestions or questions you may have that you want to be heard on the show or about the show. Go ahead, send them right there as well. Links to all these are in the show notes and on our website, which is wdmagicast.com. I want to thank you for your time. I know how little time we all have these days, and I know the fact that we get to spend some of this together truly means a lot to us over here at WD Magiccast. We cannot thank you enough. We truly appreciate it. Please, if you really want to help the show out, go to Apple Podcast, go to Stitcher, leave us a rating and review. We have all 5-star reviews at the moment on both those podcatchers. Keep them coming. We need more. The more that we get, the more likely that they're going to promote our podcast and more people start listening, and just makes the podcast even bigger and better. And the more people that listen, the more we can do. Walt believed in a big Disney family, and so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to the show while you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes are posted. While you're at it, consider becoming a premium subscriber. Really help the show out. You can do this over at anchor.fm/WDMagicCast/support. You can also check out our merchandise shop where you can get yourself some really cool WD Magiccast stuff. Got mugs, sweatshirts, jackets, hoodies, t-shirts, notebooks, stickers, you name it. We got a bunch of stuff there. Make sure to check out, because that will help the show out greatly. And you get something in the return too. You get some really cool stuff. Trust me, it's good stuff. I got a lot of it myself. You can find these links as well in the show notes and on our website. Because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. Whatever you're feeling out there, whatever darkness and whatever trouble seems to be bothering you, remember, you are special. You are someone that really does make a difference in this world, whether you may realize it or not. The world is a better place because of you and because of the light of you. Let the world see your light. Let it shine for everyone to see. Never give up. Never give in. Be your own hero. And if you need to, ask for help. There are people out there, and you may never have met them before. You may not know their name. You may never have even heard of them. But they're willing to help you or lead you to where you need to be to get the help that you need. Never give up, never give in. Be your own hero. Now I'd like to end this week's show with a quote from Walt Disney himself. "I don't pose as an authority on anything at all. I follow the opinions of the ordinary people I meet, and I take pride in the close-knit teamwork of my organization. Again, that's from Walt Disney. Thank you again for listening, everyone, and I'll see you next time.